We're looking at a warm couple of days up here in the Northland in beautiful downtown Duluth at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum in the St. Louis County Depot. It has been a long, hard, cold, and snow-deep winter. So we're ready for some warmer temperatures. We're out in the back patio area, and we can't wait for the snow to melt. You know, this is the area that we redid last year. We tore up all the bricks, tore up all of the curbing, put in new bricks, new curbing, and opened it up with lights. It's a whole new experience when you come to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum outside in what we dubbed our gallery, the engine gallery. And on one side we have diesel engines, and here on the other side we have steam engines like the 2719. Now, not only did we improve the lighting, improve the surface, and open this whole area up, but we're also going to have some videos. And then you can see the big screen is going to be out here. You'll be able to select videos that will tell you about each and every engine here in our engine gallery. You'll just push a button and learn more about the 2719, for instance, and it'll look something like this.
She was made to run fast. The Soo Line's 2719 was built for speed. With 75-inch drive wheels, the engine could reach a top speed of 80 miles an hour with a string of passenger cars trailing behind her. The engine's main duty was pulling the overnight all-Pullman Laker passenger train between Duluth, Superior, and Chicago. The train left here at 6:45 in the evening and arrived in downtown Chicago the next morning at 8. The service ended on January 15th of 1965. By then, the train had a diesel in the lead. Those new diesels were only able to shave 15 minutes off the time it took the 2719 and her sisters to make the same trip. Here's one of those steam killers on the Laker, EMD's demonstrator model that was eventually purchased by the Soo Line and is now here in the collection of the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. The steam engine was donated to the city of Eau Claire, where it was displayed in Carson Park. A local group of rail fans convinced the city to sell them the engine for $1 so it could be restored to running condition. The nonprofit Locomotive and Tower Preservation Fund ran several mainline excursions, but eventually folded.
Steve, king of the rail fans, Glashinsky, comes up with the idea that this engine belongs in a museum, the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. We convinced the city of Eau Claire, which had sold the engine to Locomotive and Tower Preservation Fund for $1, to exercise their right to repurchase it for $1. We then buy it from the city of Eau Claire for $2 and bring it up here and run it on the North Shore Scenic Railroad, where it is the delight of thousands because it's such a great running locomotive. Frank Christopherson, one of our all-time best engineers, says it's the best engine he's ever run, and he ran steam for the Great Northern back in the day. In the meantime, it comes back to what Indiana Jones said in The Last Crusade as he's on the wash deck of a tramp freighter, and the seas are washing over that deck in fear of washing him into the sea as he tries to clutch the Cross of Coronado. And he says into the camera, "This belongs in a museum." And he was right. And that's where it is today and will stay. We certainly want to thank everyone who worked so very hard to save the 2719 for posterity. We want to thank the City of Eau Claire, Locomotive Tower Preservation Fund, the King, all our great volunteers that ran the engine and then worked so hard to maintain it, to keep it running over the years that it was active on the North Shore Scenic Railroad. And that's a question I often get. When will this engine run again? Well, remember I told you the Soo Line took such great care of it? And then, of course, it has so very few miles on it after the Soo Line that this engine is actually in excellent condition. It's just at the end of its FRA licensed 15-year boiler period. All it needs is a new set of tubes and a boiler inspection and another 15-year license, and this engine is good to go. Meanwhile, the number 332 steam locomotive is our working engine on the North Shore Scenic Railroad right now. It's in the midst of its 15-year cycle. Our plan has always been, when the 332 comes to the end of its FRA license period, this engine will be ready to go again, and we'll leapfrog the two in perpetuity.
And this is where the engine will be waiting to run again someday for future generations to enjoy.